Hello, my students. Let's see salts from topic number 5, acid, bases and salts. There are different types of salts are there. Acidic salt is there, basic salt is there and the neutral salt. Generally, we know that. What do you mean by salt? Salts are formed by neutralization reactions when acids when acid and base reacted, it form salt, right? But there are different types. Three types of salt. Neutral salt. When neutral salt is formed, when strong acid and strong base reacted, it gives the salt that is called as a neutral salt because its pH is 7. That salt pH is a 7. Okay. The salt can be called as a acidic salt. When it is acidic salt, when the strong acid and weak base is reacted, it forms the acidic salt whose pH is less than 7. Then third salt is basic salt. When weak acid is reacted with a strong base, it forms the salt that is called as a basic salt and the pH is greater than 7. Okay. In our day-to-day life, we are using various salts: ammonium nitrate, sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate, potassium chloride, sodium acetate, sodium chloride. We can define them as a neutral salt, acidic salt or basic salt. Okay. Then let's see the water of crystallization. Okay, there are the crystal substances. Crystal compounds are in crystal compound or in a crystalline structure. The water is always present. Water is present. What is present? Water. And because it is water, that substance get a crystalline structure. Okay. Blue vitriol, that is a CuSO4, 5 molecules of water. This is known as a blue vitriol. In blue vitriol, its color is blue, and that is gained because of the presence of water. Suppose if this blue vitriol is heated, then it form the colorless powder of CuSO4 and water is evaporated. Okay. This blue vitriol get a blue color because of the part of water, but when it is released out, then it's get a white color powder. These water molecules are known as a water of crystallization. Okay. But in this powder, if we add water, then this powder again get converted into blue. Which means it get its color as it is, blue color. Okay. Means here we come to know that there is no chemical change in this heating. There is no chemical change. Okay, in the crystals of the blue vitriol. after heating. So only after heating only water is loose, but as water is gained back, it gets the physical condition, it gets the blue color. So color is adding on this. Okay. All ionic compounds are crystalline in nature. That means it forms the crystals because of definite arrangement. The crystal is the formation of crystal is due to definite arrangement of molecules. Molecules are arranged definitely in a ionic compound, so they have got a crystal structures. And these crystals, the and water in crystal is called what's called water of crystallization. Water, it is called the water of crystallization. Okay. In crystal ionic compound, in a crystallization, water is present in a definite proportion. If we see the ferrous sulfate, the molecule from FeSO4 7:2, number of water molecules are 7. In a copper sulfate, see 5 numbers of water molecules are there. In a ferrous sulfate, 7 molecules of water molecules are there. In washing soda, is sodium carbonate, the Na2CO3 10 H2O molecule, 10 molecules of H2O are present. In alum, K2SO4 alum, K2SO4, Al2SO4 thrice, and 24 number of water molecules are present. All these crystalline structures contain the water molecules. These are the part of internal arrangement. Water molecules are the part of the internal arrangement of the crystals. On heating, water molecules are released into the air, and only colorless powder is remaining, and then it lost their shape. Okay, so ionic compounds are the crystalline structures present because of the water molecules. These ionic compounds are also called as a electrical conductive. Ionic compound and the electrical conductivity. See, they are called the electric conductors. Let's see. Suppose in an empty beaker, use two electrodes. Okay, these two electrodes connect with a wire, and there is a bulb, and then it connect to the battery. Similarly, second is connect to the battery. Then after connecting 6-volt battery connecting, then switch on the switch on. See what happens here. Is bulb is glowing? No, bulb is do not glow, because see, the two ends of electrodes, they are not connected, so circuit is not complete. That is why there is no flow of electric current, as a result bulb do not glow. Now in this beaker we add NaCl solution, salt solution, sodium chloride salt solution we added. Or glucose powder we can add, or the NaOH, H2SO4, if we add it. Then see what happens, and then switch on the electric current. After that, when you switch on the electric current, then bulb is glowing. Why this bulb is glowing? When we add the NaCl, then the NaCl due to solutions, this electric circuit will complete. Means here from this rod to this rod, the electric current flow because of presence of the solution. That means the solution is a good conductor or it conducts the electricity. How it conducts the electricity? When the electrical current start that time, the electrical through the electrical wires, electrons conduct electrons conduct electricity in the electrical wires, and that time ions conduct electricity in solution. In solution, the ions are produced, and that ions conduct the electricity from one end to the another end. That will complete the electrical circuits. When there is a liquid or a solution in a circuit, the two rods or the wires plates are complete the complete the circuit. These two rods or wires or plate, these two rods are known as electrodes, which dip into this solution. They are made usually by these solids. Though, so the one end which conducting the which connecting to the negative terminal. See, this end connected to the negative terminal of a battery. This is called as a cathode, and one is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as a anode. Cathode and the anode, two terminals are there. Okay, how it will be conduct the electricity? When the current pass through the electrode into the solutions of NaCl, what happens? From this solution, the ions are dissociates. Their anions and cations from the solutions, whether it is salt or strong acid or strong bases, they are dissociate completely from their ions are formed. These ions may be cations or anions. Okay, these anions are mobility, having they carry the charge. Cations carry positive charge, anions carry negative charge. Okay, so the ions produced in this, some are positive charge, some are negative. Suppose this is a negative charge and this is a positive charge cathode, electrodes. Okay, so what happens? This positive charge ions moves towards the negative charge electrodes, and this negatively charged ions move towards the positively charged terminals or electrodes, because they are attracted towards the oppositely charged. So this movement of ions through the solutions towards the respective electrodes or towards the particular electrodes conduct the electricity. The movement of electrons conduct the electricity through the solution. As a result, the solution carry the electricity. So the dissociative ions are play important role in the conductions of electricity. Then here the electrolysis is the important process. Electrolysis. In electrolysis, the by using the electrical conductor, see, in a beaker, two electrodes are there. These two electrodes are connected with a key and the source of battery. Let's see what happens here. In this, if we add CuSO4 copper sulfate solution. Then it connected to the this one is the cathode and this one is the anode. Okay, what happens when we switch on? The electric current start to flow, and to the electric current we let from copper sulfate, copper ion and sulfate ions are produced. Okay, copper ions are positive charge, sulfur ions are negative charge. So copper ions from positive terminal, it flow towards the negative terminal. Which one? Copper ions. That time from this, the sulfur ions are moved to the positive. Here, what happens? From this copper sulfate, the two due to the electrical current or electric energy, two ions are get separated. This process by which the from the solid the ions are dissociated, that is called as a electrolysis. In this process, at the cathode end, the copper ions is get attracted, so it collected as a and at the cathode the copper is deposited, and they accept two electrons, so they form the copper atoms in a solid state. So this is known as a cathode reaction. This is called as a cathode reaction. And at the anode, what happens? The copper is deposited. This copper, which is in aqueous, loses the two electron. Okay, at the anode, this SO4, not a copper, SO4 is deposited. This SO4 loses the two electron. It loses two electron. SO4 loses two electron. Okay, so it is dependent on the anode. This is known as the anode reaction. Okay, the pure water is here. If we take the pure water, the pure water is bad conductor of electricity, because from the pure water its a pH is a 7 and it dissociated very less amount, that is 1 into 10 to minus 7 mole of atom in a liquid. So the number of atom dissociated in a pure water is very less, and that is why pure water cannot be conduct electricity. So it is pure water is known as a bad conductor of electricity. It is called as a very bad conductor. It do not conduct the electricity. Okay, only salt solution can be conduct electricity. So water when through water, when electric current is passed, this water is electrolysis. How it is electrolysis? See, this one is a there two, we using it two rods differently in this. Okay, then here we use two beaker, test tube, keep test tube above this electrodes inverted position. These two ends, this one is a negative terminal, this one is a positive terminal, is connected to the battery negative, and this one is to the positive terminal. Okay, here in this, if we take the water, what happens in this test tube? In the first test tube, water is entered up to this, and here water is entered. Then Here in a test tube open empty space, the gas is collected. When electric current pass, then this water is dissociated to form water is dissociated from the hydrogen ions and oxygen ions and the oxygen OH ion and the OH ion is formed. Hydrogen and the OH ion is so hydrogen OH ion is formed. Here the hydrogen positive charge, so it goes towards the negative terminal, hydroxyl negative, so it carries towards the positive terminals. At cathode, at cathode, this water is dissociated, so from then two electron loses, and at the cathode the water hydrogen molecules is dissociated, is deposited is at the cathode. The hydrogen molecules are so here in the, because the hydrogen gas is collected, while at the anode from this water when dissociated, the oxygen and the four hydrogen and the four electrons, this hydrogen is collected, oxygen collected into the anode end. Okay, so this is known as the cathode. This is known as the anode. Means water is electrolysis to form the hydrogen gas and the oxygen gas separately. Okay, here the topic number 5, acid, bases and salt, is completed. Please study in details. Thank you.